Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at a new Black Library hero. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. A new Black Library hero rises with an incredible novel and miniature. So with the new Sisters of Battle Codex coming out, the launch box, and all the sweet accessories, looks like we got a brand new character to join the range. A galaxy of constant war is a perfect breeding grounds for epic heroes and legendary deeds. But even with valiant last stands and desperate charges happening daily, it's not often that a character ascends to the hallowed halls of Black Library. This time we turn to Celestian Sacresant Aveline, the protagonist of Jude Reed's upcoming Daemonbreaker. Alright, so we got a cool piece of artwork right here. Daemonbreaker, a celestial sacresant, and definitely just loving the artwork. Very, very cool. Not only is the zealous battle sister the star of a brand new Black Library tale set during Abaddon's 13th Black Crusade, explaining how she earned the moniker Daemonbreaker, but she is also receiving an absolute showstopper of a miniature that emphasizes everything that's great about the Adepta Sororitas. Okay, so I've got to say that Black Library has put out some cool models over the years, but this is absolutely amazing. Right off the bat, obviously, the sword is just sick. So you basically have like a regular power sword, and then we can see it's engulfed in the flames, and it's the Adepta Sororitas symbol. Very, very cool pose. Super tactical rock. And then, of course, a couple of cherubs as well, carrying some relics and flamer reloads. She's got a little flame pistol. Her actual tabard has like a beautiful insignia of the sisters in it. We can see her Sacresant shield behind the hand flamer. Really, really cool looking model right here. Loaded in details. And obviously, this is a beautiful paint job. Fully encompasses the artwork from the cover. Very, very cool. Fervent warrior in Baroque armor covered in ornate details? Check. Sword infused with the holy power of the Emperor busting into flame in the image of the fleur-de-lis? Check. Creepy little cherub framing your righteous pose with purity seal garlands? Also check. This is the full package. And I have to agree with this. This is definitely the full package. You can't see it in that initial picture, but the actual shield itself is like super ornate, absolutely beautiful. This is a very, very well done miniature. I'm a huge fan of this. Probably one of the coolest models to join the Sisters range. Obviously, like Morvenval and Saint Celestine are amazing. We've gotten a couple of like really nice sculpts over the years, but this one is definitely in my top 3. Hailing from the Order of the Sacred Rose, Aveline has been dispatched along with the Adepta Sororitas to repel Abaddon's assault on Cadia during the 13th Black Crusade. But before she can join the final conflict, she must perform one final sacred duty by securing a shrine on Orison 8. What starts out as a simple mission to hunt down a chaos sorcerer becomes a deadly game of cat and mouse as an ancient evil is uncovered, one that knows Aveline's name and spells ruin for Holy Terra should she fail to defeat it. Daemonbreaker will be released later this year, and suitably epic special edition is on the way too. Keep an eye on Warhammer Community for more details on both. And it does say that her sword is a sacred relic sword of Saint Arabella, patron saint of the Order of a Sacred Rose, no less. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. So we can see the Order of the Sacred Rose sign on her back. Really, really cool. So it does say specifically that she's a Sacresant that's rising to power. So I'm interested what she'll get, like datasheet wise. Is this going to be like a generic Sacresant like leader? Or is she going to get an actual like HQ slot with special rules that can be used in 40k? Obviously, if it's in the Codex, we'll know when that comes out. Otherwise, it's not uncommon for Games Workshop to release these rules separately. We have seen in the past, though, that a lot of the times, at least more recently, they've been putting out these characters and they're giving them Legends rules. So they're not actually usable in 40k or like balanced. Obviously, you could use it in friendly games. You could use her as a stand-in for like your squad champion. But regardless, to me, this is definitely like a showpiece. The level of detail on like her sword and on her armor, her tabard, the cherubs, the base, it's all set up like a tiny little diorama. And I absolutely love it. I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. And she is obviously very well done. And then standing on top of like the demon head on top of the tactical rock, obviously giving her a little bit of size on the battlefield. But I think the things that really stand out for me are, one, the shield is super cool. Two, like the details on the tabard. But obviously the fire in the shape of the fleur-de-lis is very, very cool. We see she has like a custom little power sword almost with like a flamer tip built into it. So I'm not sure if the idea is that she can like ignite her sword and use it as another flamer, because obviously she has the hand flamer as well, or if it adds like additional damage or abilities in combat. But definitely looking forward to this. The paint job is really nice as well. See some beautiful blends, the non-metallic metals, or at least the detailed metallics. Actually, it does look like it's metallic metal. But really, really cool. Definitely looking forward to seeing where this story goes. Love to see these little independent characters coming out that sort of fill some gaps in like the overall codex or range. And then, of course, anytime a new model comes out, especially one with like this level of detail, is always really cool. And I could totally see her in like the center of a diorama with a few other sisters around her, a little battle taking place, some slayed demons. Yeah, this is extremely well executed. And I think this puts on full display what the real differences are between like the old range and what Games Workshop used to be able to do, specifically with like resin, plastic, metal through the ages compared to what they're able to do now. Because realistically, I mean, this type of miniature right here in plastic produced at a large scale is really not viable for most other companies, nor for Games Workshop even a few years ago. So we see the technology is coming to the next level. And while it does bother everybody about the price increases, obviously I'm not a proponent of it either. But honestly, if that's what it takes to get new models like this, new ranges like the Sisters of Battle range, I'm all for it. Because things like the Big Mech that's been coming out lately, this character right here, are just on the next level. And not only is Games Workshop / like Warhammer, 40K, and Sigmar like two of the biggest games in the industry, they're absolutely thriving. We're seeing more people coming into the hobby, even though a lot of people are leaving too. The popularity of Warhammer is not going anywhere anytime soon. And if that means more players, more popularity, and more amazing models like this, I think that basically is my justification for why I'll probably never leave Games Workshop. And while there's a lot of other cool companies popping up, there's a lot of cool other sculpts coming up, a lot of knockoffs, alternative games, just overall alternative options to spend your hobby dollars on. Seeing so many companies and games come and go over the years, and knowing that Games Workshop is always going to be the rock, always going to be standing there when the dust settles, can give you confidence in like your actual hobby and gaming aspects of it as well. And then, of course, just knowing that the value of the miniatures or the price of the miniatures is always slowly going up. Whenever you have a nicely painted army or even just a pile of shame, you know that in many ways it sits there sort of like a Games Workshop investment account. And even though their stock hasn't been doing particularly well over like the last 3 or 4 years, it's basically been like sideways to down. I know my Dragon Horde, my stock of Games Workshop unpainted minis, and my endless displays of painted minis are only ever going to be worth more than they're worth now. So while I don't mean to defend Games Workshop necessarily, whenever these price increases come out and people talk about the pluses and minuses, and obviously it's mostly minuses, I'm one of the first people to point that out. One thing I like about Games Workshop is that I can rest assured that my investment in like the actual hobby itself, in the miniatures, my time investment into painting them is only ever going to accrue value over time. So I'm not sure how I kind of got onto this topic, but I have to say that this model is absolutely amazing. And even a couple of years ago, something like this just wasn't possible. So seeing the leaps and bounds that Games Workshop is making with the actual sculpts, the quality of the game as it's in the best place it's ever been, with Sigmar 4.0 getting ready to launch very soon, I can confidently say that while Games Workshop doesn't always make me happy, that Warhammer definitely does. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Always like to hear your guys' opinions. What do you think of the model? What do you think of my take on the situation? I always read all the comments. And of course, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop minis. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and she is sick. And I'm out of here.